George Foreman was born in Marshall, Texas, on January 10, 1949. He grew up in the Fifth Ward community of Houston, Texas, with 6 siblings. Although he was raised by J.D. Foreman, whom his mother had married when George was a small child, his biological father was Leroy Moorhead. By his own admission in his autobiography, George was a troubled youth. He dropped out of school at the age of 15 and spent time as a mugger. At age 16, Foreman had a change of heart and convinced his mother to sign him up for Job Corps after seeing an ad for the Corps on TV. As part of Job Corps, Foreman earned his GED and trained to become a carpenter and bricklayer. After moving to Pleasanton, California, with the help of a supervisor, he began to train. Foreman was interested in football and idolized Jim Brown, but gave it up for boxing. Foreman won a gold medal in the boxing/heavyweight division at the 1968 Mexico City Olympic Games. In the finals, Foreman defeated the Soviet Union's Jonas Sepulus. The referee stopped the fight in the second round. Sepulus' face was already bleeding in the first round from Foreman's punches and had to take a standing 8 count early in the second round. Sepulus, fighting out of Lithuania, was a 29-year-old veteran with a 12-year-long amateur career, having over 220 fights in his record, quite experienced, and 10 years older than Foreman. After winning the gold medal fight, Foreman walked around the ring carrying a small U.S. flag and bowing to the crowd. Foreman maintained that earning the Olympic gold medal was the achievement he was most proud of in his boxing career, more so than either of his world titles. Foreman turned professional in 1969 with a 3-round knockout of Donald Walheim in New York City. He had a total of 13 fights that year, winning all of them, 11 by knockout. In 1970, Foreman continued his march toward the undisputed heavyweight title, winning all 12 of his bouts, 11 by knockout. Among the opponents he defeated were Gregorio Peralta, whom he decisioned at Madison Square Garden, although Peralta showed that Foreman was vulnerable to fast counterpunching mixed with an assertive boxing style. Foreman then defeated George Chuvalo by technical knockout, TKO, in 3 rounds. After this win, Foreman defeated Charlie Polite in 4 rounds and Boone Kirkman in 3. Peralta and Chuvalo were Foreman's first world-level wins. Peralta was the number 10 ranked heavyweight in the world in January 1970 per The Ring, while Chuvalo was number 7 in the world per their March 1971 issue. In 1971, Foreman won 7 more fights, winning all of them by knockout, including a rematch with Peralta, whom he defeated by knockout in the 10th and final round in Oakland, California, and a win over Leroy Caldwell, whom he knocked out in the second round. After amassing a record of 32-0, 29 KO, he was ranked as the number 1 challenger by the World Boxing Association and World Boxing Council. Foreman was gracious and philosophical in his loss to Briggs, but announced his final retirement shortly afterwards. However, he did plan a return bout against Larry Holmes in 1999, scheduled to take place at the Houston Astrodome on pay-per-view. The fight was to be billed as the Birthday Bash due to both fighters' upcoming birthdays. Foreman was set to make $10 million and Holmes was to make $4 million, but negotiations fell through and the fight was canceled. With a continuing affinity for the sport, Foreman became a respected boxing analyst for HBO. Foreman said he had no plans to resume his career as a boxer, but then announced in February 2004 that he was training for one more comeback fight to demonstrate that the age of 55, like 40, is not a death sentence. The bout, against an unspecified opponent, rumored to be Trevor Berbick, never materialized. Foreman's wife was widely thought to have been a major factor in the change of plans. Foreman left the sport of boxing after leaving HBO to pursue other opportunities. Foreman was married to Mary Joan Martelli from 1985 until his death. He had 4 previous marriages, to Adrienne Calhoun from 1971 to 1974, Cynthia Lewis from 1977 to 1979, Sharon Goodson from 1981 to 1982, and Andrea Skeet from 1982 to 1985. Foreman had 12 children, 5 sons and 7 daughters. His 5 sons are George Jr., George III, Monk, George IV, Big Wheel, George V, Red, and George VI, Little Joey. On his website, Foreman explains, "I named all my sons George Edward Foreman so they would always have something in common. I say to them, if one of us goes up, then we all go up together, and if one goes down, we all go down together." As with his father, George III has pursued a career in boxing and entrepreneurship. George IV appeared on the 2nd season of the reality television series American Grit, where he placed 7th. His 7 daughters are Natalia, Leola, Frida, Michi, Georgetta, Isabella, and Courtney. Natalia and Leola are from his marriage to Mary Joan Martelli. His daughters from separate relationships are Frida, Michi, and Georgetta. He adopted a daughter, Isabella Brandy Lelia Foreman, in 2009, and another, Courtney Isaac Foreman, in 2012. Frida had a 5-1 record as a pro boxer, retired in 2001, and died in 2019 at age 42 in an apparent suicide. Isabella Foreman lives in Sweden, where she has blogged since 2010 under the name of Bellanatella. In recognition of Foreman's patriotism and community service, the American Legion honored him with its James V. Day Good Guy Award during its 95th National Convention in 2013. Foreman died at a hospital in Houston, Texas, on March 21, 2025, at age 76. The cause of death was not announced by Foreman's family. A devout preacher, a devoted husband, a loving father, and a proud grand and great-grandfather, he lived a life marked by unwavering faith, humility, and purpose, the Foreman family statement read. A humanitarian, an Olympian, and 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, he was deeply respected, a force for good, a man of discipline, conviction, and a protector of his legacy, fighting tirelessly to preserve his good name for his family.